thematic session on advanced biofuels, decarbonizing land, sea, and air. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for our next thematic panel session on the topic Advanced Biofuels, Decarbonizing Land, Sea and Air. For this session, I would like to invite on stage our moderator, Mr. Siddharth Rastogi, Vice President Global Sales, MVS Engineering Private Limited. Sir, I request you to kindly come forward and join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our moderator, Mr. Siddharth Rastogi. And now I request our panelists to kindly come and join us on stage. Mr. Vineet Bakshi, Senior Director, Business Development from LanzaTech Private Limited. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We also have with us here Mr. Deepak Bisht, Senior Director, HITC Honeywell UOP. Sir, I request you to kindly come forward and join us on stage. Dr. Tushar Bhaumik, Consultant, MVS Engineering. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Mr. Kiran KK, Managing Director, Kashyap Engineering Infrastructures. So we request you to kindly join us on stage. A very warm welcome to you. Mr. Sankal Purvar, Co-Founder and Head of Partnerships, CRID, that's Grid India. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Mr. Swastik Gajjar, Director, Thematic. So we request you to kindly come and join us on stage. A very warm welcome to you. Mr. Prashant V. Naik, Vice President, Business Development, Lumis Technology. So we request you to kindly come and join us on stage. We request Mr. Deepak Bisht to kindly come and join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for this wonderful set of panel. Can we have some energy, please? Please give a big round of applause. It's going to be a thematic panel session on advanced biofuels, decarbonizing land, sea, and air. Over to our moderator. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are here to discuss one of the most urgent levers in the global net zero transition, advanced biofuels, and their role in decarbonizing land transport, aviation, and maritime. Across these sectors, the challenge is the same. We need fuels, we need higher energy density, low carbon fuels that can be deployed at scale now. Not in the future, not a decade from now, but now. Advanced biofuels offer exactly that, drop-in solutions that work with existing engines, supply chains, and global standards. I will request our speakers and our panelists to provide their insights and also answer some of the pressing questions I am sure that the audience has in their minds. How quickly can we scale production? How do we ensure sustainable, reliable feedstocks? What policy and investment frameworks are needed to unlock real momentum? So let's make this discussion practical, ambitious, and focused on implementation. First of all, I would like to request all panelists to give a brief introduction about themselves and their companies. And try to keep it, if possible, maybe to about a minute or 2 minutes, because I think some of the questions are really where the discussion needs to take place today. So we have, I'll begin with Mr. Vineet Bakshi, Senior Business Development Director at LanzaTech Private Limited.
Thank you, Siddharth. Vineet here from LanzaTech and LanzaJet. So LanzaTech is a carbon recycling company wherein we convert any sort of waste. It could be industrial waste gases, MSW, agri-waste, and if you don't have that, you have waste CO2 from flue gases. They are captured and converted into sustainable fuels. We do it with the use of synthetic biology. We have identified naturally existing microorganisms. And by the help of that, in a single step, through our novel gas fermentation technology, we do that. And we are the only ones till now to have proven that at scale. And today we have 6 commercial plants on ground when I'm talking about making ethanol. And ethanol is the first step. And then we also have a technology through Lanza Jet, which is converting ethanol into sustainable aviation fuel, which is right now the most talked about thing. Again, the only technology company so far which has demonstrated at a commercial scale that ethanol can be converted into sustainable aviation fuel. As of now, I leave it there, and let's take the question when it comes.
Thank you. I believe we are missing Mr. Deepak Bisht. So over to you, Dr. Tushar Bhaumik. He's a colleague of mine at MVS Engineering, a cryogenics expert and a consultant with our company for all things cryogenic and ultra cold temperatures. So over to you, Dr. Bhaumik.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Tushar Bhaumik. Basically, I'm a cryogenics person. My background is cryogenics. I did my PhD in cryogenics. And association with MVS started 3 years before. And my area of operations or activity is methane. I am dealing with methane and cold methane. So in this world of biofuel, that gets an importance in terms of its carbon neutrality. So today it's a very nice opportunity to share my experiences, my perspectives on this whole process of decarbonizing the world with advanced biofuels. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaumik, for that. Next, we have Mr. Kiran KK, Managing Director, Kashyap Energy Infrastructures. Over to you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This is Kiran KK. We operate from T-Hub Foundation, Hyderabad, which is the largest incubator in the world. We primarily focus on 2 aspects. One is capturing of new water from wastewater and capturing of methane. We have 2 joint patents developed with IIT Hyderabad in this area. And we are also into innovation on biomethanol, processes. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Mr. Sankalp Purwar, co-founder and head of partnership, CRID India.
Thank you, sir. I'm Sankalp. I'm co-founder of Center for Research and Implementation for Decarbonization. It's a new think tank that is working in India's industrial decarbonization and energy transition phase. The philosophy of starting CRID was very simple, just to put it out in words. We have a sea of think tanks in India, numerous of them, everyone is aware. But what we have been seeing is the gap as that while think tanks are excellent at doing research, the implementation is the real challenge. Think tanks do not implement their research. At the same time, startups know the art of execution, but they're not picking up the right problem statements when we look at the country level perspective or national level challenges that we talk about. So considering that in mind, we have started this new think tank into this energy space. Earlier, I was heading the Energy Environment Department of ISMA, Indian Sugar and Bioenergy Manufacturers Association, another CEO of association that is present here today.
Thank you, Sankalp. Next, we have Mr. Swastik Gajjar, Director, Thematic.
Hello, everyone. I am from the team of Thematic, and we are at Thematic doing not decarbonizing, but I would say we are doing carbonizing everything. we are not limited to ourselves up to just generating a fuel only. We complete the whole cycle, what we are getting as a feed from the plant, as a product or as a byproduct. Our EPC solutions gives back to the plant. So I would like to not add a land, air, and water. I would like one more element as a plant. So we can complete the whole carbon cycle. And we can say that we are doing in a better way or a natural way, because now the farmer is a key person of this bioenergy.
Thank you. Thank you, Swastikji. If the audience has any questions, what I would like to request is if you can please note your questions down. And once we have gone through some of the questions I would like to take this panel through, then we would open it up to the audience for the Q&A. So, Vinitji, let's begin with you. The first question, I know LanzaTech has been around and they are predominantly known in the market for technology, right? And for meeting that gap between the desire to do something and actually making it happen. So what I wanted to ask you is, what potential do you see for your various biofuel technologies in India? And specifically, what are the challenges that you see which may be specific to the Indian landscape?
Thank you. I'll start with ethanol. So what I'll do, I'll start with the feedstocks, a bit about technologies, and then keeping in mind, the theme of the session, I'll start connected to land, sea, and aviation. So with respect to our technology, the good part is that every manufacturing asset, that has some waste gases coming out. Now, it could be your steel plant. They have waste gases. It could be waste of gases or any gases. We have taken that, and that has been demonstrated to make ethanol. And the good part is when you use, these waste gases, and mind you, the ethanol which we make, that's an advanced ethanol, and totally away from the food versus fuel debate. We only believe in recycling carbon. So you have the ferroalloy gases, you have steel mill gases. So we have been taking them, and since 2018 the plant is up and running in China, which has been converting those gases into ethanol. And not only that, 4 of our plants are also ISCC Plus, ISCC COSIA, and 2 of them are RSB certified. Now, RSB is a gold standard in sustainable bioproducts. ISCC is a certification wherein you can sell that ethanol anywhere in the world. So that's the quality which you make, low CI ethanol. And then with respect to Indian context, you have similar steel plants in India. You have off gases coming from refineries. With NTPC, we are coming up with a project wherein the flue gas from a power plant is being converted to ethanol. That's in the first phase. In phase 2, they have plans of converting that ethanol into SAF. Now imagine every manufacturing facility has furnace or fire heaters, right? So something similar can be replicated. And today when we are having this dialogue, we are all aware what's happening globally in the West Asia, right? With a country like us, wherein we are importing 85% of oil and more than 50% of gas, the time is really here wherein we start looking at these, domestically available waste resources and advanced biofuels, apart from renewable energy, which can actually, make us energy self-sufficient and cut down our imports. And then not only that, with respect to MSW, which is actually a waste. In the previous session, it was shown that India has close to, I think, 550 of agri waste and 60 or 65 million metric tons of MSW. I think in Japan, for the last 11 years with Sekisui, we have been converting the same MSW to ethanol. Now, why ethanol? Because ethanol is actually a building block. You have ethanol, the breakthrough is always converting the ethanol, all this waste, gases or anything into ethanol. Once you have ethanol, you dehydrate ethanol, you can make, ethylene. And then from ethylene, you can enter into a plethora of high value C2 derivative. The shirts which are wearing, these are nothing but polyester, right? This is actually, you have ethanol, you convert that, then you have, you make MEG from there, you have PTA, it's get converted to PET. The water bottles, the plastic water bottles over there, so virtually everything is a C2 derivative. And the perfumes which we use, they have a base of ethanol. And what we are actually doing is not just stopping at ethanol. Over the last 11 years, we have developed a value chain wherein the sustainable ethanol, the low CI ethanol made from the plants which have deployed our technology, we also offtake that. We call it the carbon smart, and those has been supplied to the likes of Zara, Krag Hopper, Adidas, and even Gucci. You go to retail, you go to the retail sites, their websites, you can actually see today they are selling shirts, jackets, trousers, shoes, which are made of the captured waste gases, which through LanzaJet technology was captured. So this is taking it to a next level. And thanks to sustainable availability in Europe, there's a premium which has been given to that. And we see that thing happening in India also in times to come. So that was ethanol. We also have a breakthrough which was made last year, wherein ethanol, the waste CO2 can be converted into protein. Just imagine the protein industry, it's more than 2 trillion industry. We have already cleared the animal testing by US FDA. The human trials is yet to begin because once we have sufficient amount of those protein. And then there's a SAF story, right? Today, SAF is the buzzword, right? And if you look at how to make SAF, of course, the low-hanging fruit which refiners have started is going by HEFA pathway. But, aggregating the waste cooking oil and other things, like it's not easy. Okay, you can do that, but to satiate the need of 1% or 2% of the country. But if you look at the 5% target by 2030 and looking to go beyond that, we already have a surplus ethanol. So what better way to convert that ethanol into sustainable aviation fuel? And as initially, Rastogi ji, you said, about the technology. So the technology is already there. We have demonstrated the only company, to set up its own plant. We have our own plant in Georgia, which got commissioned in November. And the only place where ethanol has been converted to SAF. So the technology is there. Our strategy is simple. That replicate the success of Freedom Pines, and pivot the India surplus ethanol into SAF. And already, like globally, we are coming up with 6 projects, which are 3 times the capacity of the Freedom Pines, and they are in advanced feed stage, right? In India also, we, along with IOC, we have completed the BDEP. So very soon we'll be progressing on that. So that is SAF one. Now, the support from government, obviously, you are looking to compete with a very mature fossil industry. And if you want to do that, so there's a bit of hand-holding. And our global experience, if we can share that in India, first and foremost, the mandates need to be here. We all have looked, why did success story of renewable happen or the ethanol success story happen? It was only because the mandate was there, Mandate is there, demand and offtake comes in automatically. So with respect to advanced biofuels, like SAF to be specific, and also the marine fuel, I actually didn't touch upon. Today, if you look at the marine fuel, the regulations are there, IMO regulations. Methanol is one alternate fuel, but apart from that, ethanol also, last 2-3 years, the likes of Maersk and Wärtsilä, they have already done testing of 10% blending of ships, and that's both on 2-stroke and the 4-stroke ship engines, right? So the testing has already started for 50% E50 blending. So, you know, we have alternates available within India. And the support from the government which you want, apart from the mandates, second would be, if not a premium price, at least the price needs to be given on the cost plus basis, so that any project developer who's setting up a project for initial projects, you know, these things are taken care. And if not that, then how like US and UK are doing it, where premium price is not there, you know, they are giving a tax credit incentive. So that can be given for initial few projects. And then of course, you know, when you envisage a project, you know, how good it's technically, you know, the viability needs to be there. So what India did for renewables earlier was an accelerated depreciation model, wherein a 40% accelerated depreciation was given. Something of that sort can again be given. It was done in past. And one more thing, last but not least, you know, to bring a project from a concept stage, at least to FID, there is a pre-FID support, especially for these advanced biofuels, which is given in abroad. Like the countries in UK, you know, the government, through its Department for Transportation, they came out with the fund, which they call Advanced Fuel Fund, wherein, you know, they encourage the project developers along with technology provider to pitch their project, and they provide a pre-FID funding. Now, pre-FID funding per se is very important, you know, because today you go to, as a technology provider to any project developer or a potential plant owner, they ask you plus minus आपका 10% कितना होगा capex, right? But to arrive at that number, you know, I'm sure the project developer, he needs to hire an engineering consultant, right? And also there's a basic engineering design package, you know, which needs to be taken from a technology licensor to reach there. Now, reaching to a plus minus 10% of cost estimate, that entails a certain investment, you know, which the project developer may not be willing to do all by their own. You know, so government can come in with the pre-FID fund to take these projects to FID. And if giving a grant like abroad is an issue, I think what can be done is you can come with the caveat that tomorrow when the project achieves FID, you know, the same grant would partially be reimbursed by the project developer, right? So this is our ask.
Thank you so much. That was really, really interesting to hear all the different perspectives. And I really appreciate, Vineetji, you've covered not only from a technology standpoint, but also from the perspective of what really the challenges are there in the market from a government policy standpoint, what government support that can be provided, financially, what are the hurdles. You know, it is really nice for us, all of us, to be sitting here on the dais and talking about all things technology. But the reality, when it comes down to it, is in the heart of the entrepreneur. It is in the heart of the business person who is going to, you know, put their money and take that risk. So I agree with the point that the government support definitely is the need of the hour. And this is something I think as the rest of the panelists also go through, if you could touch upon maybe some of the challenges, some of the things that you're seeing in the Indian market, what could really accelerate the adoption, you know, some of the ideas that we've heard from Mr. Vineet would go a really, really long way, you know, as a body, the Indian Biogas Association, with the organizers of this seminar and this conference over here, we are all industry bodies, and a collective voice is or should be taken to the government through forums like these. So really appreciate your thoughts, Vineetji. Moving on, we're going to switch gears a little bit, moving into LNG. So we all talk about gases over here. Some of the things that Dr. Bhaumik touched upon in his introduction was that he's very close to methane. And when we talk about that, natural gas and then further liquefied natural gas, and obviously with the twist of the LNG coming from a renewable source, that makes things really, really exciting. So question for you, Dr. Bhaumik. Does LNG or bio-LNG have the potential for solving the last mile delivery challenges which the industry is facing. The CBG industry today, maybe they are cascading, or they are putting the gas into the pipeline. Sometimes it's economical, sometimes it's not, and sometimes these options are not even available. So your thoughts on that, please. How does LNG, does it solve the dilemma, not only technologically, but financially?
Yes, if we see the aspects of biofuels, I'm talking about bio-CNG or bio-LNG. The present process, the way it has been adopted in India, is that you produce biogas and purify it and then put it into the grid or put it into the use through compressors. Now, the difficulties which has been faced in this kinds of an approach is that you can do it if your source and usage points are nearby. When India is a huge country, and if we see the production points and the usage are very scattered and all over the places. So as a result of that, transportations of gas molecules become a very important parameters. So the subject of economics comes up. If we put it in a gas format and transporting it to a certain distance, it works nicely through compressions. But beyond a critical distance, the issue is economic transportability comes. Now, in this aspect, the role of bio-LNG or transforming the gases into liquid comes into picture. As we all know, if we transform a gas into liquid, it really increases the capacity of condensing the energy to a larger extent, almost 100 times more. So as a result of that, bio-LNG has got a important perspectives in terms of transportations, economic transportations at the usage point. That's one part of it. The second aspect of it is that its usage. Presently, we are talking about usage only as a gas, and the gas usage means it has restricted itself to a particular volume of utility. Let's take transport sectors. Transport trucks, long distance trucks running 1,000 kilometers across the country require, if it runs on a gas, it requires multiple fillings. But if it runs on LNG format, it can run in one fill. So that saves money, time, and energy. So as a result of that, bio-LNG can be a very interesting options in these applications in this sector. Now, the issue is that internationally, the awareness has already been started and initiated. But in India, it is still in niche stage. We are talking about LNG. We started using LNG, but still we need to travel quite a lot. Government has taken a lot of initiative and a lot of activity is taking places. And what is required at this present of time, just the follow-up and a consolidation. With a true follow-up and consolidations, I am quite optimistic and hopeful that in a couple of years from now, the results will be significant and visible. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaumik. Just if you could maybe spend a minute as a follow-on question. You talked about two very, very critical points over here. Number one, volumetrically, what I understand is that the gas converted to liquid, you're able to mobilize or move a lot more molecules. Mathematically, what is that? And then the other point that you talked about, the cost of the liquefaction and that conversion, how much of that really adds to the CBG which is already there? How much of cost would get added on to convert it to LNG?
Yeah, just to give some numbers, that's an interesting numbers, which is nationally or internationally it is mentioned. If we process or if you carry on a transportations, if that cost is below $3 per MMBTU, then you are in a cash positive scenario and the whole operations is economically viable. The moment you are having higher processing, then the difficulties. Now what it has been found out, if we go for LNG format of transportations and all these things, beyond the critical distance of say about couple of hundreds kilometers, the cost of transportations and processings comes below $3 and that become economically very attractive. So that's the advantage of putting an LNG format of use for using it at a long distance transportations as well as economic distributions.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bhaumik, for that clarity. Now over to Mr. Kiran. One very interesting thing I heard in your introduction is that you're managing wastewater and taking it through some interesting pathways to make it usable. So a question that I have is that obviously is one of the feedstocks, but what feedstocks do you feel are appropriate for the Indian ecosystem, not only now, but also future-proofed, right? So we don't want to be always looking for that we've tried something now, 3 or 4 years later, we realize, no, this doesn't work, so let's go on looking for something else. So if you could just shed some light on that, please, sir.
Sure. Here I would like to mention to the audience is like the ethanol blending program has been one of the most successful program for the country, and we have more than about 500 ethanol plants which have come up, and so ethanol plants they have their revenue streams coming from one is sale of ethanol and also from the DDGS. So on the flip side, actually because of the number of ethanol plants which have come up, so the DDGS prices have come down, and therefore the financial viability of ethanol plants, the grain-based ethanol plants, was a question mark. Our work has been on using the thin slop wastewater, per se, though it is actually used to convert into DDGS. So we have developed a technology which is disruptive, and this thin slop is diverted to CBG production. So that's how the integration of ethanol with CBG. And on operational point of view, if the thin slop is diverted from the dryer, without making the DDGS, then there is a lot of steam savings are there, there is a power savings are there, and by default, the protein percentage in the DDGS also improves. So with this particular intervention, the ethanol plants bottom line have improved significantly. And similarly for the sugar factories, we have a sugar condensate, which again is a low-hanging fruit because it is not organically charged much, but you have certain organics because you can't dispose it off. So this new water captured from thin slop as well as from the sugar condensate has given the opportunity in sugar and ethanol complex to go in for a complete recycle, and to that extent the fresh water usage is come down. So these are the projects which have been implemented by us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that clarity. I have been asked to wrap this session up in about 5 minutes, so sorry about this, sorry to rush through. I know when I hear all of these topics being discussed, that gives birth to another 100 questions, but I'll have to move on. So over to you, Sankalp-ji. Something that has been in the news lately, and I think this is a topic that I would hope that you can maybe speak to. The experts today are cautioning about, diverting rice and sugarcane to fuel production because it could worsen the water scarcity as well as affect the food security of our country. So could you share your thoughts on that perspective?
No, thank you for that opportunity, sir. So, as sir was talking about, the ethanol blending program has quite been a success for the Indian biofuel industry altogether. We have been able to achieve targets way beyond that time, and that is sort of a commendable job to the government, to the industry stakeholders, that they have been able to create capacities, sustain infrastructure investment at a scale required to achieve 20% blending before time. And now we are moving towards E85 and E100, as the Central Motor Act has been clearly stating under the draft policy norms, right? The food versus fuel debate, so we have been arguing, I have been arguing that matter a lot before when I was at ISMA, at national and international forums. We have been to COP and clean energy ministerial meetings, where we have been clearly stating that while the global biofuel industry might be struggling with using 1G biofuels for production of, for use in transport and aviation, the Indian industry does not come into the entire ambit of food versus fuel. The reason for that is very clear. For example, when we talk about sugar, sugar is an essential commodity. We divert sugar for export even after we have met our domestic consumption. Then we divert it for export, and beyond that we are diverting it for biofuel production. So biofuel now comes just before export. So the food versus fuel debate directly goes out of it. Maize also comes under Essential Commodity Act. So two of the main feedstocks that are being used. In terms of diversification of feedstock, when rice was being exported, it was being kept in the FCI godowns. It was essentially being wasted. At the same time, the water debate was also happening. There is no doubt that Indian agriculture itself is very water consumptionist. 85% of the water consumed in India is essentially being used by the agriculture sector due to flood irrigations. So the scope of intervention through drip irrigation is huge in India. We can essentially reduce urea consumption by 1/3 of the quantity. That will be a national benefit, because we are essentially importing urea as well and having an additional import bill. So doing drip irrigation is always going to be beneficial and something that the biofuel industry needs to look forward. But the whole ambit discussion that biofuels or feedstocks like rice and sugar are bad for energy production due to its water consumption is false as of now. They were being used for adequate purposes and diversified use before, but the narrative is being set due to certain advocacy forces and lobbyings in the different various circles and institutions. So that will be my humble submission, and I will restrict that.
Thank you for that clarification. Definitely very good to hear an expert talk about. The media may portray certain things a certain way, but to get the ground reality, hearing a subject matter expert on that definitely gives a lot of clarity on it. So moving on to Mr. Swastik, with your experience and the work that Thematic Engineering has been doing, do you see the biofuels market changing in India? If you can give a little bit of a historical perspective of some of the things that you've done in the past and maybe what you see as the future for the kinds of work that may be coming your way now.
Now, let me summarize the session. Um, there is so much advancing in bioenergy fuels. Now we are generating ethanol is such a quality we can use in plane, aviation. We are generating biogas, so we can convert this biogas into diamonds. We are generating good H2, hydrogen, so we can run a submarine also. The key factor is that this whole sector is governed by the farmers and the scientists, researchers. Now, those who are the corporates, big giants, now also becoming a scientist or a farmers to enter in the sector. The challenge is what I see is, these are the benefits of this sector, bioenergy. What the challenge is, what I see is for this sector is still not integrated. All the byproducts, all the products are not integrated. What, as a bioenergy, earlier we are directly taking fuel, chemically or mechanically taking fuel from the earth. Now we are taking nutrients or taking fuel from the earth to plant, plant to feed, feed to ethanol, ethanol to maybe a biogas or hydrogen. And we are not giving back to the plant, or we are not giving back to the earth. So we, as a bioenergy industry, we are neglecting so many byproducts. We are not completing the whole carbon cycle. So we are shifting just the pollution load. Earlier we are generating a CO2 from the another fossil fuels, and the same CO2 we are generating from the bioenergy fuel. As this whole business sector is governed by the scientists, researchers, and farmers, they have a only solution to back this CO2 to the plant or get back that byproduct to the nature. So how we can biologically or naturally convert those pollutant to nutrient or to send it back to the earth. We have to address, now it's time to, for ethanol, for biogas and hydrogen, it's time to take this challenge as an opportunity. We have to see the more opportunity for the byproducts also. Then and then we get a good viability, and then we get a good ROI for the projects. Then we can say that, okay, now we are doing a good bioenergy plants, or we are generating bioenergy products. Otherwise, it's a simple fossil fuel we are generating only. We are talking only about fuels. The byproducts we are always neglecting as an industry. It's time to concentrate on that also.
Thank you, Swastik ji. While I appreciate your words that we may not be completing a complete cycle, but over here, I think with the words that you mentioned, we may be completing a full cycle, coming back to where we began with Mr. Vineet, talking about, and I'd love to connect with you separately to hear about, CO2 to proteins. Yeah, I'm not a biologist, but I am a heavy consumer of proteins because my dietitian always tells me that's what I'm lacking, So with that, do we have any time to take questions from the audience, if any? No, we're on a very tight schedule. Do we have any questions? Maybe one question from the audience, if anybody would like to. I see one hand up of the gentleman there. So when you state the question, sir, if you can just mention who out of the panelists you are addressing the question to as well. Can we have the mic to him, please?
My question is Swastik, sir. You told that you are not completing a cycle because you are creating the biogas from the paddy straw or naturally produced biomass. If you are not using, it will again generate the biomethane by natural process. So how you saying that you are replacing the fossil fuel? Because this is the excess material you are using for productive work, na?
What sense I conclude this, summarize this sentence that we are not integrating, we are neglecting the byproducts. While we are generating a methane from the paddy straw or any agricultural waste, what we are neglecting, we are also generating sulfur as a H2S. We are also generating CO2 as a byproduct. Now this CO2 and these sulfurs are not where we are putting back to the earth.
Have you studied when in natural biodegradation process, it is not generating H2S or CO2? If you are capped in the atmosphere.
If I say stoichiometrically or microchemistry level, all the agri-waste generates H2S, all the agri-waste generates CO2. What we need as a carbon, or what we get as an element as a sulfur, we need a carbon as a fertilizer. We can use this CO2 in algae farming. We can use this sulfur in a fertilizer also. So what exactly we are not addressing, or what we are neglecting, is to complete the whole biochemistry cycle. We are producing CH4, but if you are not handle the CO2 and H2S in a biological manner, then the way is just similar, where when we are using fossil fuel or we are using the derived fuel from the biomass. The way is similar.
Thank you.
So I would like to conclude the session. I would like to thank all the panelists. I know the time was short today, and hopefully the audience can connect with the panelists after we are done over here.
Yes, yes, we can take these questions offline. I'm sure you'll be
Yeah.
happy to answer.
Yeah. So over to you.
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our thematic panel discussion on advanced biofuels, decarbonizing land, sea, and air. We thank all our esteemed panelists for their wonderful views and for this fantastic discussion. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much. And now I request our moderator, Mr. Siddharth Rastogi, to kindly felicitate all our panelists. Sir, we request you to kindly honor Mr. Vineet Bakshi, Senior Director, Business Development, LanzaTech Private Limited. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and contribution to the session. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable inputs on the thematic session. Thank you. So we now request you to kindly felicitate Dr. Tushar Bhaumik, Consultant, MVS Engineering. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the occasion and taking out time for us. Thank you so much for sharing your views. We now request you to kindly felicitate Mr. Kiran KK, Managing Director, Kashyap Energy Infrastructures. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and contribution to the session. We now request you to kindly felicitate Mr. Sankalp Purvar, Co-founder and Head of Partnership, Grid India. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your enlightening thoughts. We now request you to kindly felicitate Mr. Swastik Gajjar, Director, Thematic. Thank you so much, sir, for making your presence felt and for gracing the occasion. Thank you so much. We now request Mr. Abhijit Mukherjee, Director Operations from Indian Biogas Association, to kindly felicitate our moderator, Mr. Siddharth Rastogi, Vice President Global Sales, MVS Engineering Private Limited, for moderating the discussion so seamlessly. Thanks to all the panelists for answering the questions. Rest of the questions can be taken offline. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we conclude our thematic panel session on advanced biofuels, decarbonizing land, sea and air. We request everyone to kindly come forward for the group photograph. Please put your hands together once again for this wonderful thematic panel discussion. Thank you so much, and